Hello everybody, welcome to Dr. Stone, episode uno. Uno means one. Anime review. I hope you like rocks, because there's a lot of rocks where we're going. That was terrible with an intro. We'll keep it, it's fine. Yeah, this anime, we had crazy hairstyles, we had rocks, we had science. Memes and everything aside, I actually quite enjoyed this episode. I thought it was pretty damn good and engaging for a first episode, and I'm very intrigued to see where this goes. That's it. That's the end. I'll just end it there. No, that's not true. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna go through the episode. If you're new here, go through the episode, and at the end of the episode, I'll talk some more about it. Yeah, let's crack on with this thing. So we start off with our main character telling Senku. Senku is the dude with the crazy hair. Telling him he's gonna confess to a girl. I've checked on my notes and stuff. There was a love potion involved. He's like, I don't need no love potion. It was just gasoline though, so he tried to kill him, essentially. Imagine if he had drank it, we'd be watching a very different show. But yeah, then they look out the window, the science crew, and they're betting on how the confession's gonna go. The thing I liked, Senku was like, he believed in the guy's name, whose name I haven't written down. I hope I've written it down. Taiju. Taiju is the other guy. He's confessing to, I've got to remember her name now. Yuzuriha is her name. And so yeah, I liked how Senku actually was supportive, or he knew he was gonna, he believed in him essentially. That was good. Yeah, it kind of showed like they're really good friends, despite the fact that they well, Senku's kind of a dick. You have friends that you're just a dick to. Senku's that friend. Yeah, but yeah, then Taiju goes to the confession, and then the green light engulfs the earth, and all the humans turn to stone. Only the humans, though. That dog was still... humans and birds turned to stone, because that dog was still barking, and trees and everything weren't turned to stone. It was just the people and the birds, which is... I'm trying to put together what birds and people have in common, and the thing I could come up with was they're both alive, but then other living things, like I think there was fish as well that were not stone. So, very weird. But yeah, then we have Taiju, yep. It was I assume he's like main character. It's kind of split with him and Senku. It doesn't matter too much. He's in the rock, and here his thoughts. He's like, I'm gonna survive by sheer willpower. So I'm assuming if they fall asleep, they die, because later on, Senku was like, I've got to stay awake. I've got to keep conscious. Otherwise, I'm not gonna survive, But yeah, so everyone's in rocks and everything. What could possibly happen next? Nothing. It's the end. The rest of the series is just you watch it's like a scroll around the world, just all the statues. That would be a very interesting anime. I don't think it'd be very entertaining, but it would be an interesting experiment to see that, I think. Next up, Taiju busts out his stone, naked for some reason. I guess his clothes turned to stone and only his body popped out, although his body was the stone, but it wasn't, because the clothes were the stone. He's naked is the gist of it. He makes a leaf thing though, and then we get a little flashback of they found some what do they call them? It's a stone. It's a bird that's turned to stone essentially. In the past, they found a bunch of birds that had turned to stone and took it to a vet. Vet was closed though. Yeah, then he goes to the tree where he was confessing. Yuzuriha is still there. And then he does the wall slam and everything, like, I'm going to save you, after he does his confession to the statue. Hopefully she's still alive. That would be a pretty bummer if she was dead already. Hopefully not. But yeah, then says he'll save her. Then on the tree next to it, like engraved, he's like, there's instructions there saying to follow down the river. I wonder who could have left that. I mean, no one was surprised, right? Gets down the river and he runs into Senku, who is awake and trying to rebuild. He's been awake for 6 months already. Imagine being awake for 6 months with no other people around. That'd be pretty not cool. But yeah, then he explains, or not really explains, his flashback is like, I was counting all the days. It's like 3,700 years later. I forget what else he said. He's built a little hut with stuff. There's like spears and there's some food and stuff. So he's got it figured out, and then they have like a little partnership started. They got a proper brains and brawn situation. Senku being the brains and Taiju being the brawn, obviously. And basically their goal is to rebuild the world. I think he's like, we're the Adam and the Eve of the new world. And I was like, you're both guys though. I'm not going to do that stupid meme, but like, come on. You have to rename it. So they've got a lot of food. Half of it is poisonous though. We have Senku going through like, this is poisonous, this is fine, this is poisonous. Then Taiju goes to find more, he finds grapes to eat. Collects them, he's like that, exactly like that. That's what he does. He does the Star Wars Episode 1 thing, Jar Jar Binks. And then go back to the cave, and there's a bucket under the little water. I think it's water. It's not water. It's acid. Whatever. Senku's collecting that, and then he points out it's weird that we both popped out so close to the same time. It's fate or something. But then they start talking about science. Where are we? Nitric acid, that's what it was. I'm glad I wrote that down. They're like, this might be the cause, well, not the cause, the way to get people out of it was the nitric acid, because that was what was falling on him, and it corroded the stone. That's what they're saying, it was corroded the stone, but then they tried it on the birds and it didn't work, and I was like, okay, so you need a certain concentration or so. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a scientist, you might be able to tell. So a lot of this went over my head, but I tried to understand. Can't ask for too much more than, I mean you can, it would be helpful if I fully understood everything, but I'm sorry. But yeah, then he's like, need to get some liquor to try and figure this out better. And then Taiju's like, why don't you just use the grapes? And he's like, huh, his pride as a genius is on the line. We have a little, I guess, montage of them crushing the grapes, trying to make the wine, trying to get the acid right. But they, then they try distilling it, and then their pot breaks, and then the credits start, and but it's not like proper credits, like there's still stuff going on in the credits. Taiju uses like a clamshell to shave his beard, that was pretty funny. But yeah, then eventually they get the acid concentration right, to get a feather loose or whatever, and then they set a bird free, and you know, now they can restore civilization. So, well, I mean, what? Just go revive people now. You've done it. You've saved the world. We're on episode 1. Good job. But yeah, I'm assuming something's going to go wrong. They'll be like, we don't have enough for it to work on a human, or humans are different than birds. I don't know. Something to just extend it. Although we do need more characters. But the ending, was it the opening? It was the opening because there was no proper ending. That was right. They played the opening at the end, and that showed a bunch of other characters. So I'm assuming they're going to break some people out. Because I don't think they can have kids because they're both dudes. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Don't actually correct me if I'm wrong. I might not be a scientist, but I know that much. But yeah, this is an interesting show. It could be sort of informative because at the end they've made sure they were like, everything they showed is like researched and real or whatever, but don't try it at home, it can be illegal. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But yeah, if they try and play it all, I mean, it's going to be informative. I think it's going to be actually an educational show. Not really, but like, you get what I'm saying. They're going to be like doing the thing, and then they're going to rebuild. I'm curious to see what they rebuild, because how they rebuild things. Like, they're going to rebuild cars, planes. I mean, I don't think we'll get that here because we've got to get the starting things first. You've got to rebuild like, what's something that's absolutely necessary in the heat of the UK? A fan, ice. Freeze water, a freezer, chocolate buttons. What else do they need to rebuild that's very important? Anime. They got to rebuild anime. We got you, Dr. Stone. They're going to make like Stone anime. Man, I've completely lost the plot here. But yeah, this was I really enjoyed it. I think my favourite part was not even the banter, just the between Senku and Taiju, just their chemistry was good. Yeah, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm running out of things to say. I just enjoyed it, but episode 1, it's really hard to get a proper grasp as to what's going on. If it's more like this, it can't be like just this episode, the same format for 24 episodes. That might get boring, but I have confidence that they're going to mix it up and introduce new problems and everything. So I'm very hopeful. So hopefully everything works out good, because I'm moderately excited for this. You know, I'm a positive person here on this show. But yeah, if you enjoyed this review, subscribe and stuff for more reviews. I'll be here every week doing this show. And I'm doing a bunch of other shows for summer as well. Hopefully you enjoy them too. Yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this episode and everything. And I will see you next week. Bye, guys.